Ms. Erler,
Here.
Mr. Shader,
Here.
Mr. Summers.
Here.
Mr. Leapak.
Here.
Ms. Mercer.
Here.
Mr. Liebrick.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item 5, we have public comments. Nicole, did we have any emailed comments?
We had one emailed comment and one in-person signed up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The emailed is from Suzanne Schrader. The address is 1759 Pine Street, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, 54481. The agenda item to be addressed is item 8A, election of board officers. The comment is, I believe Jennifer Bushman should continue as board president. That is the end of that comment. The other person is Chris Scott. Thank you.
So I'm speaking to item 6A, voting method. Chris Scott, 3340 Whiting Avenue, Stevens Point. I'd like to encourage the board. You have a few options here. And for many years, board members would initial their vote, and then should the community be interested in seeing, because it was a secret ballot, who was voting, they could come in. I can say in 21 years, the only person I know that had looked to see was me, because someone said that they voted for someone and they didn't, and I'm like, what? So I looked. Other than that, no one has ever, in my 21 years, and I think before, come in to see. But I just hope whatever you choose, it looks like one of the things you could do is just do it in person where everyone knew. Be transparent. It shouldn't be something that people are wondering about, and you have the right not to do that, but I also think it's very transparent. Board members don't have to guess, did someone vote, did someone not vote? I think transparency for the community is the right way to go. So that's my comment for 6A. My other comments, and the reason I'm here, was for agenda items. I'm going to kind of put them together. Nicole, if I get out of line time-wise, let me know. I'll try to keep it very brief. And those are items 9A and 10A. And that is the committee chairs and members. So what I want to mention is a couple years ago, I applied to be a community member on the Business Services Committee. And someone else applied, I think, for Ed Services. And the policy says they can apply, they will be approved. We were approved, but then the board decided that the way the policy was set up, that they should be adding something more, and they added a rubric to that. So the same people who applied, one of them said, I'm not doing this, and I did come back. People, they felt like, I don't know, what I felt like it was unfair, because I think the type of rubric was not something that the community, who is willing to give their time, their effort, their knowledge for, and it was almost like they're taking a test. So I thought it was something that was way over, not that it was bad, but it was way over for what this position is. You're asking people from the community to volunteer. And my thought was, volunteer your time, volunteer your reason for being here. What can you learn? What can you add? Those are the kind of questions you want, and I think that would be fair to them. So what happened when the new committee members came in? It was already 2 or 3, I think it was 2 months over. And then there were all these cancellations of business services. So the first year, from 23 to 24, there were actually 5 committee meetings that I was able to attend. 5 out of 12. The next year, which is 24, 25, because of all the cancellations, there were 7. Now think about this, 2-year commitment, that's 24 meetings. And there were a total of 12 that we could attend because of all the cancellations and because of pushing forward initially. So, number one, if you want to serve again, you can reapply. For me, I don't think it's fair to me to have to reapply. Number one, I've done all the work. I'm probably more educated and knowledgeable. Tom is leaving. I've worked with Tom for years. I know Mike's coming in. So I just want to say, I hope you'll look at that rubric, and I hope you'll make a consideration that I would not have to reapply again, since I only served half of what the commitment was, which is 2 years. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, thank you. We are moving on to agenda item 6. We have our voting method, a selection of form to vote, and I'm going to hand this off to Corey.
Sure. So before we start the process to pick our new officers, the board each year makes a decision how they want to do the voting for this. So there's 3 options. You can do a written ballot with initials, you can do a secret ballot with no initials, or a roll call vote. So with that, I'm just going to open it up and allow a board member to make a motion if they so desire.
I would make a motion to do this with initials. That'd be my motion.
Can you have to state what that is, right?
So a
The ballot,
written ballot with initials?
Second.
Okay, motion made by G, second by Marnie. Discussion. Well, I would say that this is something that I did bring forth to the board a couple of years ago. It's something that state law does allow for. And I don't believe that this particular option of secret ballot means that you're not transparent. And I know that many people have different interpretations. The reason for me doing so is because the first year that I served on the board, I felt like when people, and there were board members that went to look at who voted for whom, it was a bullying and intimidation tactic. I don't believe that we should have that as board members, and I just feel like it's a way to protect those that might feel intimidated or bullied for any particular reason. So it's not going against not being transparent. For me, it's about protecting the integrity of each individual board member's votes without them having to worry about being bullied or intimidated against. Other comments?
I guess I'll note in the years that I've been on the board, we used that ballot method to allow, especially if there was more than one person, for each board member to feel comfortable voting, but also to allow the public, in the event they chose to want to take a look at who voted for whom, that they should be entitled to do that. Because ultimately, as elected officials, we are answerable to the public, and the public should have that information available if they would like it. I hope we are all recognizing that this is business. The votes we take are not personal, and that we need to respect each other's votes, and we need to accept each other's votes, and then we need to move on to work as a board together, as we have been doing. So I am supportive of the motion that G presented. I've been supportive of it the last 2 years. I just have been on the losing side.
I thought about it going into this because I knew that it might come up as a topic, and I don't think anybody should ever have to feel intimidated or bullied. I feel very strongly about that, even in my profession. But I also do feel an obligation to be public in my choices, regardless of what they are and what the fallout is for that. So I would hope that we are all mature enough not to engage in those activities or to call each other out for it. And maybe we'll talk more about that in the trust section. I don't know. But that is why I chose this way. But I fully agree. No one should have to feel bullied.
And I have experienced that personally, so that is my experience. And I do believe that you can go with secret ballot and still accept the decision and move forward as a board together. I don't believe those have to be mutually exclusive. Any other comments?
I'm in full support of making it with initials. I think that we have a grievance process with the board, and if members feel intimidated by other board members, then we have ways to deal with that through our policies that we have adopted as a group. So I'm a big believer in public transparency. I think that when you run for public office, you make that commitment to be accessible and open to our constituents, and I think that applies to every vote we make. That's just my personal philosophy.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Oh, roll call vote.
Ready for the roll call?
Yes.
Mr. Pope,
Yes.
Ms. Mercer,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalski,
Yes.
Ms. Erler,
Yes.
Mr. Shader,
Aye.
Mr. Summers,
No.
Mr. Lepak,
No.
Mr. Liebrick.
Yes.
6 yes, 2 no.
Jen Bushman.
Oh, sorry, Jen Bushman.
Yeah.
3 no.
Thank you. Okay, so we will move forward with a ballot and initials for the rest. And then now we're moving to agenda item 7. We have our selection of temporary chairperson. And so I'm looking for a motion to appoint Superintendent Hirschbrunner as temporary chair.
So moved.
Motion by Will.
Second.
Second by G. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you for the honor and responsibility of serving the board in this role. The following procedures will be followed for the nomination and election of board president. I will announce that the nominations are open for the office of president. Nominations will be accepted from the floor by any board member. After each nomination, I will announce the individual that has been nominated. I will then call for additional nominations a second and third time. If there are no further nominations, then I will announce that nominations are closed. If there is more than one individual that's nominated, we'll allow each individual to say a few words about why they are interested in serving in that role. If more than one candidate is nominated, a vote, as determined by the board, which you just decided, written ballot with initials, will be taken. If no candidate receives a majority, the voting will continue. Candidates who were nominated will remain on the ballot unless they voluntarily withdraw. And then both Nicole and I will tally the votes, and then we will announce who the new president is. At that point, then the president will continue with the nomination process for the other positions. With that,
Can I ask a question?
yep,
If they're on here, do they need to be nominated?
Yes.
yes, yes. And just know that if there are names up there and you want your name removed, we can do that also. Or if your name is not up there under a certain category and you would like to be considered, we can still add names. Any other questions? Ted, once it's time for you to vote, you can just email your vote to Chris Nyman.
To Chris Nyman, I will do so.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. With that, nominations are now open for the office of president.
I will nominate Meg Earl.
Ms. Erler has been nominated for board president. Are there any further nominations?
I nominate Jen Bush.
Ms. Bushman has been nominated for board president. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If not, nominations are now closed, and it's time for you to vote.
Are we going to say
Oh, pardon me?
why?
Oh, yes, thank you. So why don't we start with Meg, and then we'll go with Jen.
I put my name as board president. I think that I will do a great job for the board. I've been in the position, was in the position for 8 years. I attend every single committee member meeting. I have done that since the first time that I got on the board. I think it's important for the president to have an understanding of what's happening at those committee meetings. I think it's important both with respect to the items that don't come to the board but are informational, and looking for ideas only options, as well as being able to then work with the superintendent and the vice president to put together the agenda for the next meeting. I commit to continuing to do that. If you vote for me this year, I believe that we as a board are going to be facing significant challenges, both locally with respect to our schools, with respect to the academic goals that we have set, with respect to the economic, financial challenges that we are all aware of and will continue to face. Also with respect to what is happening at both the state level and the federal level. And I pledge my best. I believe my background as an attorney and as a longtime person involved in government affairs, I believe that I will do a wonderful job. And so I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Meg. Jen?
I feel really honored to have led in this capacity as board president for the last 2 years. Under my leadership, I have prioritized teacher and staff compensation and benefits and really ensuring that we're keeping our teachers and staff at the forefront of all the decisions that we're making. And we have made significant advancements in the last 2 years under my leadership. Additionally, I believe that I've had substantive input in terms of communication and community storytelling. The perception of our district and the perception that the community has about the brand of the district, I feel like has been significantly enhanced, demonstrated by just the attendance in our board. It's been quiet, and I think sometimes that quiet is a good thing. I've also really prioritized fiscal responsibility. We have now a budget review process that we have at every single board meeting where we can let the community know how we are spending those dollars. And that has been really important in terms of transparency and accountability. And because we had a past referendum under my leadership. I also have focused on academic achievement. We've made really good decisions as it relates to curriculum. We've made good decisions in terms of the goals that we've given Corey to kind of close that achievement gap, recognizing we have more work to do. We've moved in a good direction. I believe that being a parent with a child in an elementary school, a junior high, and a high school really does afford me a really unique lens. I've been able to use that because I experience that, and my children experience all of the policies that we make as a board firsthand. And lastly, the April election results, I think, spoke volumes in terms of the community and their perception of me and my leadership, overwhelming and resounding support from the community that they have been very favorable about me and the position that I've been serving on this board. So I really would appreciate your support. Also want to say that it's been very important to me as I've led over the last 2 years to do it impartially. And this is a nonpartisan position. We just read the oath of office that we will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office, and I have done that. Anyone looking at my voting record could not guess what I am in terms of political affiliation, and so I think that's really important as a leader too. So I ask for your support.
Thank you, Jen. With that, you have ballots in front of you. So please, on your ballot, put the position and then who you're voting for and your initials. And Ted will be emailing his into Chris.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Meg Erler. You will be our next president.
Congratulations, Meg.
Thank you.
So Meg will now
Good job.
take over the rest of the meeting, so we'll have Jen and Meg switch spots just because of the video camera.
Thank you. We will move on to the election for the vice president. I am looking for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Ted Kowalski.
Ted Kowalski is nominated for vice president. Do I have any additional nominations?
I'll nominate Jen.
Jen Bushman is nominated for vice president. Do I have any further nominations? Are there any additional nominations? Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed. We will now all vote for either Jen or Ted.
Do we want to hear from the?
Oh, yes. Let's hear from both candidates. Why don't we start with Jen this time?
Well, I want to say copy paste what I just said. For the same reason as president, all the reasons that I would like to serve alongside Meg and serve as vice president.
Thank you. Ted?
Thank you. Thank you, G, for nominating me. I'm very honored to participate in this election. To me, Vice President of Education, Vice President is stepping up to the leadership role of being president. You all know that was a point that I made to our friend Dennis about his role because he had no interest in being president. I think this is a good training for that role, and I think that down the pike, that's something I would like to experience. I think my time as treasurer has taught me the procedures and how to handle the leadership role of being president. And I think being and working with Meg would teach me the rest of what I need where I could potentially run for president of the board in the future. I would hope you would support me, and I would look forward to working with Meg.
Thank you, G. Okay, at this time.
That was Ted.
Oh, Ted. Nominating him. Well,
You should just hang out so
take,
much.
like,
okay, go ahead and cast your vote.
We have to admit, though, that we have some kids in our elementary schools that think that Ted and G are identical twins.
Same person.
Just to note that.
We actually have been told that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
So,
Not Ted's really good looking.
so let's go ahead and
And vote.
vote.
And you could email Chris.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
I wonder who Ted's going to vote for.
Congratulations, Ted. You are the vice president.
Woohoo!
Congratulations,
Okay.
Ted.
That's Ted.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since this is traditionally the vice president chair, do I have to now somehow switch?
For the beach.
Yes, and you have to have knee surgery.
And you know what that's like.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do it till you need it. Just, don't do it.
All right, we will move into the position for clerk. Or treasurer, oh, it says clerk here,
fine.
but we can, let's do clerk. No, let's do treasurer first, since we have a couple of people who are interested in that. So I am looking for nominations for treasurer. I will note, although it is not required, traditionally, our board has recognized that it makes a lot of sense from just a practical perspective to have the treasurer also serve as the chair for the Business Services HR Committee. It just allows for that seamless working between that one board member and the business office to handle both the votes that we're taking as a board, as well as the signatures and the duties and responsibilities of the treasurer after the fact. And so I guess what I'm putting out there is, again, not that that is required, but I just want to put that out that the individuals that would serve as treasurer, we're hoping that they would also recognize an interest in serving as the HR chair. So the two who have at this point indicated that have also indicated they would be interested in that chair position. So I will call for nominations for treasurer.
Nominate Jen.
I would like to.
Hold on, let me just note, we have a nomination for Jen Bushman. Do we have any
Okay.
other nominations?
I would like to nominate Marnie Mercer.
We have a nomination for Marnie Mercer. Do we have any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we will close the nomination and we will move on to having Marnie and Jen speak. I will have Marnie speak first.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I do have a master's degree in English, but I just want to say that I did take statistics and calculus in college, so I do have the math background as well. My first job was for my father in accounts payable, working for several years there. While my role now is in HR, at the company I work for, I support our largest business finance group. So I support our North America finance group, as well as our tax, treasury, audit, controller, and external reporting groups. So I am heavily enmeshed in finance in my day job and used to looking over spreadsheets, as it were, and have been on the Business Services Committee, of course, now for the last 6 months or so, attending all of those meetings, appreciate the rigor to the process that has been brought there, and would like to continue in that vein, which is why I volunteered. So.
Thank you. Jen?
I have been working in human resources for close to 2 decades. I currently serve as Vice President of Talent Management and Leadership Development for a Fortune 20. I manage a day-to-day multi-million-dollar budget, very passionate about being very good fiscal stewards of our tax dollars, and that's something that I want to continue. Additionally, as serving as board president over the last 2 years, it has been a high priority for me that we focus on salary and benefits, all within the realm of both treasurer and the head of head of business and the HR committee. So I would appreciate your support so I can continue that work and build upon that momentum in that capacity.
All right.
Meg, may I add a comment?
I don't believe we're allowing additional comments, Ted.
All right.
Thank you
Okay.
for asking. All right, if we could go ahead then, and we are casting a ballot for the treasurer position. I'm slower than the other two next to me.
Ouch.
Congratulations, Marnie Mercer, on our treasurer.
Okay,
Congratulations.
I'll go for that. Good job.
Thanks, Ted.
Well, we'll do clerk, yeah, we'll do clerk first. So we have, no one at this point has indicated interest for clerk. The clerk position is of course, that leadership, that nominated position. The duties of the clerk really are about signing documents. I mean, the vast majority of the time, the documents are documents that are available directly after our board meetings and directly after the meeting has ended and the board has taken a vote. The clerk's position is literally often with the president, but often just as the clerk, to sign off that, yes, that is the vote that was taken by our board. There are times, but very limited, where the treasurer may need to come in.
Clerk may need to come in.
Excuse me, clerk, I'm sorry. The clerk may need to come in to the business office to sign a document if necessary, or the superintendent's office. But administration has always been very good about working around the schedule of whoever is clerk to be able to allow them to do that works best for them. So with that introduction, I am throwing out nomination for clerk. Is there anyone who would nominate?
Can I ask a question about
Yes,
the
you-
duties?
Mhm.
Do you have to take any notes or anything?
No.
Closed
The
session.
The only notes that you need to take are during closed session, but the notes literally are handling the roll call vote and recording what the vote is. You're not acting as a secretary to record the substance.
Very minimal.
So it's very minimal, and the,
I'll put my name up there.
okay.
If that's all right, can I do that myself?
You sure can.
I am a lousy note taker.
I take the same notes, so between the two of us, I think we can figure it out. If we get chosen.
Somebody actually
Yeah.
did technically.
Do we have a nomination for G?
I'll nominate G.
All right, we have a nomination for G. Do we have any further nominations? Do we have any further nominations? Do we have any further nominations? Having no further nominations, I would ask for a vote. As we only have one nominee, all those in favor of G as clerk with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Thank you, G.
If my name is on the document, is there any monetary liability that I incur?
There is no monetary liability. You are literally signing off on what the board voted on.
Yeah, we keep a lawyer on retainer, so you're good.
Yeah.
Should have asked that question before we.
Before, that's right, before you got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, G.
All right, we will now move into the appointment of the board secretary. And I am looking for a motion to approve Nicole Bauman as the school board secretary.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Will and a second from Jen. Any discussion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Nicole has the job.
Congrats, Nicole.
All right, we will now move into the election of chairs for the standing board committees. And the first one we will move into is business services. We have two individuals who have indicated an interest in that. I will note that with respect to the vote cast, my understanding is that that is allowed for officers. With respect to the chair positions, we're just going to be doing a vote. So we're going to be looking for a motion for an individual to be in that chair position. And then we will vote on that. If that vote would fail, then we would look for another motion. So I am at this point looking for a motion with respect to the Business Services Human Resources Chair.
I will move to appoint Marnie Mercer as the chair.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second.
I have a motion by Will, I have a second by Ted. Could we have discussion, any discussion on that motion?
I didn't bring it up the first time, but I do have a decade in human resources as well. So it is relevant, I think.
All right. So is there any discussion at all other than Marnie's comment? Hearing none, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. We will move into the position of Educational Services Committee Chair. So I am looking for a motion.
I will motion to appoint G. Pope as Ed Services Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Will and a second by Marnie. Any discussion on that motion?
I think just as Ted alluded to, having someone new in the role that's experiencing what's going on in schools right now, as I am teaching and doing it all, especially with the Reading Act 20 stuff that's going on, having that lens of Ed Services is also important. So, and I think that's, my master's is in business education, administration, all those things. So curriculum. So I also would like to put that out there that having someone else do that as well with that experience that's living it also is important.
Are there any further comments or discussion?
Do we need to,
Because there's
You have a
already a motion
motion.
made, so we can't.
You have to fail the motion.
You have to fail the
fail
motion
the
and
motion.
then.
gotcha.
I love Robert's rules.
So do we have, gee,
No,
oh, I
I'm
thought,
confused where we are.
we're just having comment on the motion to appoint you as the chair of the committee.
Okay.
It's not a formal
Nobody else-
vote. It's
nobody
not,
else is-
it's a motion just for
It's a
you.
motion.
And then if
Yep.
it fails, then we.
Then we go to
have
an next,
motion.
another
different
person.
To officers.
Do I say something if I want to? right
Sure.
now?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I have been the chair for 2 years. And Ted will attest to the fact that I know a lot of people in the district from years, like 20 years, 30 years ago. And in the past couple of years, I got to meet all the new people that are in the district. So I think knowing and talking to people eye to eye helps. And that's why one of the reasons we go into the schools is it's one thing to talk about a classroom of 30, it's one thing to stand in a classroom of 30 and feel the pressure of the kids in the hallways and things like that. So that's why I do that, and that's why I would like to be chair of the Ed Services Committee for another.
I'd like to add, that is very important, and that is exactly what Alex does on a day-to-day, actively serving as an educator in the district, really reviewing all of the details regarding everything related to curriculum that we've been trying to move along, both this year and last year. That's my comment.
there any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of G. Pope as chair with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed with nay?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. We have, do we want to do a roll call?
Can we call a roll?
We'll
I
do a-
want to call a
All
roll.
right, we'll do a roll call.
Mr. Shader,
Aye.
Ms. Mercer,
Aye.
Ms. Bushman,
Nay.
Mr. Kowalski,
Aye.
Mr. Pope,
Yes.
Ms. Erler,
Aye.
Mr. Summers,
Nay.
Mr. Lepak,
Nay.
Mr. Liebrick.
Aye.
6 yes, 3 no.
Thank you. We'll now move to populate the committees. And I will remove my name from both as president.
And you can remove me from Ed Services. I'll stay on business.
So if we
Jen?
have if we have the chairs up there right now, we have G as chair of Ed Services with Jim, Jeremy, and Alex as members.
I would like to be on that one too.
So we'll put Jen up there.
Yes.
We have
Marnie needs to be erased from business.
Marnie or needs to be put as chair, yeah, but erased. So right now we have Marnie and Will and Ted on business services. And we are missing, who are we missing?
No.
Nobody.
We're not missing anybody.
Oh, that's right, because
Everybody's up
G, that's right.
We have it
Yeah.
imbalance.
Everybody's
So
name.
could you put G in in that member Ed Services category with a line under him up top? Please. And then Marnie also on business services,
You can just erase me.
just so we can see. Yeah, we have three. We need three for each. So is there anyone that is currently listed at Ed Services that would be willing to move to Business Services HR?
I'll move over there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
So now we have Ed Services G as chair with Jim, Jeremy, and Alex as members. We have Business Services with Marnie as chair, with Jen, Will, and Ted as members. Any comments or any questions of board members about that? So I would look for a motion to approve, let's first approve the committee members for Ed Services of Jim, Jeremy, and Alex. Could I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, now I'd be looking for a motion to approve Jen, Will, and Ted as members of the Business Services and HR Committee.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Marnie and second by Will. Any discussion on that? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We will now take a look at the board and committee meeting schedule. Our regular board meetings. Oh, yeah, we can move. We'll move to 12 and then we'll come back to that. All right, so let's move into the ad hoc committees. I'm happy to remove myself from the committee
Boston School Forest.
Off both Boston School Forest and negotiations, because I think it's important that other board members are involved
I'd like
in
to
that.
add myself to negotiations committee.
And I would take myself off of negotiations.
Fancy. You can take me off Boston School Forest. It's been a great time, though. It just happens to conflict a lot with my work meetings. So,
So we've got Boston School Forest with Jim and Jeremy. We've got tech steering. Will and Ted are both interested. Negotiations. Will and Jen, that tends to be 2 board members on negotiations.
if that's the case, you can remove me from tech then. Sure.
Okay.
Well, are you going to be around for the next negotiations? You did share that you were stepping down.
Probably not, but depends on when they negotiate. It also depends on if Act 10 gets overturned and
It'll be next,
a bajillion other things.
it'll be next March, April.
Yeah, unless Act 10 gets overturned. But
No, it would still be.
No,
next.
but it still would be in March,
Yeah.
April regardless.
yeah, you can remove me of that too if you want.
Well, I'm just speaking, if you're not going to be here, is there another board member that might
Sure.
want to be?
And that also, I'm not saying it has to be, but oftentimes it is.
The board
It is it's the board president or it's the chair of business services, HR, because they are actually with me, the last time I was president, I stopped serving as negotiations and the board of HR and business services did because they were the individual that was working the most with those 2 admin members. So I think it might behoove Marnie to.
You can put me back on there. I do negotiations at
Sure.
work, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Just the negotiations for now, yeah.
So we have Boston School Forest has Jim and Jeremy both interested. Tech steering has Will and Ted. Negotiations, Marnie and Jen, that's usually 2. CISA 5, Will and Ted. A caution that meeting is
May 15th.
May 15th.
Yeah, like
So,
Thursday.
and then we have the WASB delegate. Will G. Marnie have expressed an interest in that. That will not occur until that January 21st, 23, 2026. So,
And we need 1 member for Boston School Forest, 1 for tech, 1 for CISA 5, 1 for WASB, and then the negotiations can stay with 2.
yes,
Well, if
Can I ask
Ted
a
likes it, he
question?
can, oh, sorry.
yes.
So for WASB, if whoever is not the nominee, can they still go and
Oh, yeah.
participate?
I'll take my name off that WASB delegate. I've done that the last couple of years. Give somebody else a chance to do it.
Marnie can do it.
Marnie might have enough to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be interested.
Sure.
Jen would be interested.
I still want to go. I have a lot of passion in that area, but you can take my name off as
So-
far as official.
So the role of the WASB delegate is that they appear at the delegate convention.
But you can't get in unless you're a delegate.
No.
Gotta be.
You can't get in unless you're a delegate. Our board goes through the delegate, all of the various resolutions they brought forward, and as a board, we vote on which way we would like our delegate to vote. So our delegate does have some kind of direction from the board. However, as happened last year, there are amendments sometimes on the floor at that meeting that the delegate then
Makes decisions.
needs to determine whether it remains within the spirit of what we, had recommended or whether they need to make their own decision. So I'm looking to,
I think Jen would be good at it, yeah. I'm fine with taking my name off that.
Okay?
okay, and then what about CISA 5 rep?
Ted, are you able to go to that?
Actually, I do it on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that too then.
One meeting a year.
1 meeting.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so Ted will
this
do that.
Thursday, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, wow, yeah, it is.
Okay, so we're down to that tech steering committee. We've got Will and Ted on there. We've got Jim and Jeremy. I think it would be good if, do either of you have any interest in the tech steering committee? Versus the Boston School
Boston School
Forest?
Forest meets 4 p.m. on Wednesdays,
That's
by the
good to
way.
know.
It's usually quarterly.
Quarterly, yep.
I'm mostly interested in the Boston School Forest.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about what tech steering is?
Sure. So Brian pulls a group of people together periodically throughout the year, and he really uses that committee to just help direct and provide feedback and input into some of the decisions that he's making in his department. So, for example, the cell phone policy, he ran by that committee, to get some feedback and input before making those decisions. So it's just really whatever's front and center in his department that needs some feedback and input.
And they only did one?
No, it's
Oh,
periodically
It-
throughout
it-
the
No,
I
they,
wanna say
they
every-
need one person.
one person.
Sorry.
every
yes.
4 to 6 weeks. And some of the things that we did was we looked at utilization of some of the software. Teachers talked about it. That helped to drive down the costs in terms of licenses, et cetera. So.
Yep.
And you can attend virtually the meetings.
If Ted's passionate about it, then he can keep it.
Are you passionate about that, Ted?
I am.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you, Will. And then Boston School Forest.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I think that's how I did it last year.
You know what? We'll just go with 2 for that
Yeah, I
committee.
was going to say, if
Yes.
we have 2 passionate.
Yes, we're going to have, because there may be times when you can't show up.
Yes, I like-
So I think that's good.
Are people okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
I'm good.
Yes.
Carla will be pleased.
The more the merrier.
So let's do them one by one. Looking for a motion to approve Jim and Jeremy as representatives to the Boston School Forest.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Alex, second
Second.
by Jen. Any discussion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Could I have a motion to approve Ted on the tech steering committee?
So moved?
In a second? Second. All right, I have a motion and a second for Ted to serve on the tech steering committee.
Woohoo.
Any discussion? Other than the woohoo? All those in favor with aye?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Looking for a motion for Marnie and Jen to serve on the negotiations committee.
So moved.
Motion by Alex. Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Will. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor with aye?
I
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Could I have a motion for the CISA 5 rep to be Ted?
Okay.
second.
All right, motion by Alex, second by Will. Any discussion on that? All in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, Jen to serve as the WASB delegate.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Alex, second by Marnie. Any discussion? All those in favor with aye?
I
Aye.
Opposed with nay? Motion carries. All right, we will move back to the board and committee meeting dates and time. Currently, we're holding board meetings the second Monday of the month at 6 PM. Board members, we have some board members who have asked us to consider a 5:30 PM start time
For which one?
for the school board.
For regular
For
meetings?
the regular board meeting. Are there any thoughts about that? Just, I know for people, sometimes there can be tightness with
Work.
that work,
Yeah.
work,
I-
dinner, family, board transition.
have no
And-
preference.
Doesn't affect me, so is it a hardship for anyone else?
Might be for me, but I'll try to make it work.
Well, if it's a hardship for you, we can stick with the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, my
Really,
meetings go from-
It really is important that board members aren't feeling that
It would be
stressed.
very rushed, and I don't know if I would be able to make it to every board meeting if it was at 5:30.
Then
Well, let's keep it at 6.
let's keep that at 6. And we'll be, let's take a motion on that.
So moved.
All right?
Second.
Motion by Jen, second by Alex, that 6 PM start time. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Okay. And then our committee meetings have been meeting Ed Services at 5:30 PM and Business Services at HR at 6:30 PM. Are people comfortable with that? Well, and Jen, you'll be on you'll be on the later ones, so is 5:30 okay again for everybody else for that Ed Services? Okay, so we need a motion for the committee meetings, Ed Services at 5:30 and Business Services HR at 6:30.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. And finally, we have the approval of signature facsimile resolution.
This is something, yep, this is something that we do annually. Basically, it's just an electronic signature. So there are checks and things that have to be signed, and this just gives us the ability to use electronic signatures to do that. And Nicole will have to get those from board members, either in between this meeting and the next one, or at the end of the last board meeting. It would be easier quickly now because there is a closed session, and Nicole generally doesn't stay for that.
And we've got 3 minutes.
Every year?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been asked to leave.
We did it last year.
We did.
But only if you're an elected officer.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the to continue signature facsimile use resolution and the new signature facsimile resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, our future meeting dates and times, June 9th is our next board meeting, and we tentatively have the board retreat scheduled for June 23rd. I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.